4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, joining us here today, got a big win over the weekend. Zack VanderBeek got a new Sharon, Iowa. Zack, congratulations, first of all, and welcome to the program today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
A big win indeed. What is it, the 6th year that they've run the King of America down at Humboldt Speedway down in Kansas, and you were the 6th different winner. And there's some big names, and your name's on that list.
You know, all those guys are, top runners and highly respected, fast guys. So to be on that list of drivers that have won that deal, it's a pretty good honor. And we've been at every one of those races and had good runs there in the past. Just almost won it one year. Got second to Stormy Scott. I think the racing dirt guys down there were telling me that our average finish there had been like 6 point something. So we've had some good runs and then finally got that win this weekend.
Well, you're getting ready for the main event on Saturday night. You got in through the heat race qualifying, so you didn't have to worry about any of the alphabet soup. Not towards the front, but you could see it. 72 laps. It's a unique distance. Talk about how you prepare for a 72 lap versus like a 30, 35, or 40 lap main event.
You know, typically on a 30 to 40 lap A main, you got to go now. Just basically go 100%. If you don't do that, you're not going to win. The biggest difference there, obviously, is with the laps, you just got to keep your tires under you so they're there at the end, and just have the mindset that you don't need to do that 100%. For the first, 20 laps or so. So I felt like it was kind of beneficial, I guess, to not start in the first couple of rows where those guys, had to set such a fast pace, because you feel like you just have to when you're up there. So we got to kind of run around back there, and I actually slid back a couple spots. I think I was back to like 12th at one time, and finally about halfway through, the car started coming around real good and started picking off cars, and I think at one point we were like half a second faster than the leader there. And then finally got the yellow we needed and got in position.
When you slipped back a little bit, did you find yourself trying to overdrive? I mean, how'd you deal with that situation? Talk me through your mindset and how you kind of got yourself geared back to start pulling the rope and climbing up that hole.
Well, it's more of just being patient in a waiting game, and I was watching these drivers drive in with the car sideways a little bit up on the top. And I knew I could do that too and, somewhat maintain my position. Unless you're just way, way faster, you're not going to drive up through there anyway. My mindset was just to drive in straight, not let the car slide, and, try to not lose too many spots. Basically just be there at the end. And they started coming back to me eventually, and I started driving a little bit harder, just calculated and trying to hit my marks and just keeping the car under me, and it just really never went away the whole race.
You find yourself up towards the front. You're up there with Rodney Sanders, and you and Rodney put on a pretty good little side-by-side battle. I noticed on the video he was trying to keep you down low so you couldn't get up off the hill there and use some momentum. Talk about how you stayed calm or focused or what you were thinking you were going to do while you were trying to make that move.
Well, when I got in position to be able to fire on a restart behind him, I'd watched him drive away from the field every time. So I'm like, well, this may be as good as I get. Well, we got rolling, and I was actually giving him a little pressure and felt like I was running right with him. And if he kept slowing down and I kept hitting my marks, we could do something. And slowly but surely, there a few laps in, we started to get right up to his bumper, and then rolled underneath of him a couple times, kind of coming off a 2, and got up beside him there, finally coming off a 2 the next lap or 2. And yeah, he definitely was trying to protect that bottom, slow my momentum, drive me into the tire. I don't know. It just got real tight there. Put himself in jeopardy a little bit, which kind of surprised me because I'd rather end up second than have a cut tire, or at least have a shot to get back by you later in the race. But either way, we made a little contact, just hard racing, and it was either I hit the floater tire or I rubbed him a little bit, and that's the decision I made, was just to kind of rub up into him a little bit and just drove away from him after that. So I think he probably knew that the hit wasn't unnecessary. Whenever you're faster, you gotta maybe sometimes move them just a little bit.
He seemed to be pretty good-natured about the situation after the race, which I found encouraging. But once you did get by him, you always hear drivers talk about, we're about to win a big race, and you hear all those gremlins in the car, those 50-cent piece parts on the car. Were you sweating at all, or were you just staying and hit mark, praying for the black and whites.
Once I got to the lead, it just seemed like it took forever to get to the white flag, and we actually ended up having that YOLO with 3 to go, so that was another uncomfortable feeling there. But you think about that just a little bit. I do remember thinking, just to hold everything, hope everything holds together and the car stays fast, because we're obviously leading this deal, and it's a big deal. So yeah, you definitely, those little things run through your mind.
So now you're back at the shop. What are you thinking about looking at doing over the next, we'll say the next couple of months?
We got an IMCA deal kind of going this year with IROC race cars, so we're in the early stages of that deal. Obviously, we went down south and raced open stuff and haven't done any racing so much around here. That's firing up, so we're going to get it rolling and try to develop it, get it going fast, and probably race some local stuff with that maybe here in the near future, and then we'll fire back up USMTS racing at Lakeside. I think it's the 22nd.
Is winning the USMTS championship the goal for this year?
It's been the goal for probably the past 8 years, really. I mean, early on we just wanted to run good and first start and everything, try to get up there in the top 10, top 5. But now I feel like we got enough momentum going here, and we got if we keep working hard and everything, that's definitely an achievable goal. I think it's tough. You just got to make sure you do your part and work hard, and hopefully the other chips fall just how they need to.
Before we let you go, I know you got a great crew you want to thank as well before we ship you back into the shop.
Yeah, it's obvious. It's this racing deal. You can't do it by yourself if you want to be successful. You got to have the guys that are good at certain areas of the car, and that really makes it easier on me. My dad, number one, for whatever reason, the crazy old man just loves to do the tires. So I still
Perfect.
I still let him do that, and he does an awesome job. So he does that and takes care of all the the financial side of it. He keeps track of the books. And new this year is a good friend of mine. I've been friends with him for several years now, and Danny Crane out of Columbia, Missouri. Then he's been racing for 25 years. Decided he wanted to kind of live on the road with me doing this. He thought it'd be a good move, so he kind of approached me on it. We just come together on the deal, and he's been a huge asset this year. Been able to focus more on my job, which is the driving side, and kind of being able to focus a little more on setup, where he can take care of the car, take care of the maintenance, motor maintenance. So yeah, those guys, they're just a good group of people that help me out.
Well, I want to thank you very much for taking the time. I'll let the king get back to his work, or at least the king for the next 364 days or so, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, we'll hopefully we can keep this momentum going for sure.
Well, good luck to you on the rest of the season, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Okay, thank you.